Packages. You probably thought the same thing I did when I first started looking at packages within Service Autopilot, but they are not anything what I thought. They are actually an extremely handy tool for services that are not day, not exact time sensitive. If it's something that you can do when the client's not home. Fertilization goes into this. You can see here we have different tree and shrub package, yearly irrigation service package. We do some work for SMS, so we have an irrigation service package specifically for them. Quarterly power washing package, our lawn fert, and then a la carte, which is in with our fertilization weed control services. First thing I will say is that packages are not a package deal. That's what I thought they were initially. It was a package of services that you would sell to your client and they would get a deal. That's what I thought, the packages. But the packages are specifically for scheduling. It's an easy way for you to one, give a customer the selection of a package, but then the system takes over and tells you when you should do those services. So I'm going to pick our lawn fert package here and show you what I mean. And ours are all getting ready to renew. This one's not until next year, but what you do is you set up whatever services you want, name them in the package, and then set your date range when you want it, and the date range when you need to provide this service. So we've got it between March 15th and May 1st, with minimum of 30 days in between services. So you can see I've got some differences here. Perimeter pest control. We don't have any. The first one, 45 days. The second one, no days after that. But that depends on where you're at and what the law says. So you got to keep that in mind for any kind of, anything that requires licensed chemicals. But you set them up with your date ranges, and then you see I don't have any default budgeted hours or default rates for any one of these, because these are all tied in with the services through the services rate matrix, pulling from the custom fields. I will say again, custom fields, they all tie together, so that when you select this package and sell it to a customer, then it just pops you out your number, if that makes any sense. Just makes the estimating process much quicker. One thing that we did find, you can see I have 2 perimeter pest controls in this package. Originally we had 1, and we thought that we could just add a quantity in the package when you were estimating the job, and we would put 2 perimeter pest controls in that package, but it will only schedule 1, and it will bill twice. So we learned that the hard way when we had customers that requested 2, 3 perimeter pest controls, and we entered the quantity as 3 in the package, and then we only did 1 because the system only spit 1 out to be scheduled. So keep that in mind. If you have the same service that needs to be done several times, then you're going to have to add it multiple times within a package to do that. That's why we have it here in 2 on pest control. But once you've got this set up with your date ranges and everything else like that, then it makes it a whole lot easier to see who you have in that package, from the package. And what it does is, when, say, Mrs. Smith selects this package for lawn fertilization, in between this date and this date, this job will show up on Mrs. Smith in the waiting list, waiting to be scheduled, waiting to be dispatched. And then you just pick and choose from there where you want to dispatch. And I'm not going to go into that whole scheduling routing all that nonsense, because that's a whole nother 10 videos, I guarantee. But once you have this set up, then it makes everything so much easier. You don't have to remember that you sold Mrs. Smith a fertilization weed control or a grub control or aeration overseeding, and then remember to schedule it, because it pops up for you. So then you can schedule it from the waiting list. So keeping your eye on the waiting list in season is a must. You always have to be watching that waiting list, not only for packages, but for anything any of your team sells in the process that aren't service autopilot, don't have the service autopilot mindset. I'd say they'll sell a job within the system and then not do a thing with it, and it'll usually go to the waiting list, and it'll be 6 months before you go, oh hey, look at that. So keep that in mind. Now I'll show what this does within a client. I'll go ahead and bring up my test client, which is Brian's. It's good to set up a few test clients like this, just so you can play around with it. Just remember to, you got to go back, and any estimates or any invoices or anything like that you play with within there, you got to make sure you keep them zeroed out, or it'll throw reports off. This guy at one point had a $450,000 balance on it that threw off reports badly. But yeah, it's good to have some kind of test in here so you can play around with it to test your products, your services, your packages, things of that nature. So we got our client up here. Okay, get my estimate document up here, and I'll add the item, select the package, one for package, apply, boom, and I've already got a problem. It would seem that I have to change my fertilization, how it calculates. I was playing around this before I made this video, so. But then you just select which rounds that you want. If you want to take a PPC out, it removes it. And then quote it, send it off to the customer. Interesting thing is that if you send this off to your customer, you can leave all these checked, and they can actually select which ones they want through your portal. But that is how the packages, in a brief rundown, and it all ties in together with this service fertilization. It ties in with if you're using the chemical tracking, which is a whole other thing again. It tracks what chemicals, how much they're using, and when your techs are out doing their thing, they should be noting all that information in, so that when you generate a report on your package, your service, or whatever, you can get down to a number that makes sense, to see what your profits are on each one, on packages, on the whole gambit. But I thought I would put my 2 cents in as far as packages goes in here, just so if any of you are not using packages, you should, on those services that are not time sensitive. So let me actually go back. No, that's not where it was. Master package editor. Go back to the package list, and I'll show you another package. Yearly irrigation service package. This one's pretty basic. Of course, a startup, and then wet checks throughout the season, and then winterization. Boom. These are great for commercial properties, is what we use them mostly for. The ones where you don't have to get in somebody's basement, somebody doesn't have to be home. For banks, gas stations, things of that nature. This is excellent, because you can keep You can keep your schedule rolling without having to remember um, where, when, who you're doing the wet check for, anything like that. Also, for your startups and winterizations, you can actually, for every customer that's on this package, you can actually go and schedule the winterizations in April if you want to, and get them all, get all your ducks in a row. That way, when you get to September, October, you can just dig into them and get going on them. So this is one of the benefits about packages, is not having to remember to schedule things. So if you have any questions, I'm sure there are a lot of people just like me, because I was calling service autopilot on just about a daily basis, trying to figure out exactly how to utilize the packages within the system. And once I did, it's a great thing to use. So if you have any questions, just leave them down below, and I'll try to answer them as best I can.